What's going on, guys? It's Fantastic Films, and today we're going to be talking about the movie Ford v Ferrari. Now, just before we get started, I want to apologize for the lighting. I'm using the flash on my camera. My light that I usually use to film my videos just broke, so you're going to see some dust flying around, but it's all good. We're going to talk about the movie. Let's get into it. Before I start off, I just want to point out, James Mangold, I've been rooting for this guy for the longest time, and he's made some of the best movies of, the last few years. We got Logan, 310 to Yuma, Walk the Line, Girl Interrupted, Copland, and now we have Ford v Ferrari. Now, I'll be honest, when it comes to racing movies or sports movies, I tend to be more on the cynical side. I tend to be underwhelmed. For one, I'm not super huge into sports to begin with. I like football, but I'm not crazy about it. And I usually find sports movies to be pretty predictable. Let's face it, they all kind of follow a similar formula. So beat for beat, I can kind of see where okay, now this part's gonna happen. Everything's gonna be going good. There's a training montage, and they have their first loss, but then nope, they're gonna come back, and then they're gonna win it right in the end, but someone gets hurt, someone has a medical injury, you all know, or someone gets dumped, it follows a similar formula, and I can see pretty much exactly where it's going from the point where the movie starts. So I guess what I'm saying is I really only saw this movie for 3 reasons, and that's James Mangold, Matt Damon, and Christian Bale. Now, I went in with mediocre expectations, expecting a good movie because it was James Mangold and good performances, but I went in with my expectations set right in the middle, and I walked out of that theater with a massive grin on my face because Ford v Ferrari is straight up one of the best movies of the year so far. Now, there's a whole lot to praise about this movie, but let's just start with the obvious, the direction. James Mangold immaculately directs this film. Having his sure hand behind the camera makes for some of the best racing scenes I've ever seen. Every turn, every skid, every gear transition, everything is just so well captured, and it looks great. It's all the shots, they're wide angles, so you can see everything that's happening. You can tell, they even have a couple shots where they'll have close-up shots of the driver, but you can also see sometimes in the window, in a wide shot, if the car will turn towards the camera, you see one of the faces of the actors in the camera. And then it comes to the acting, and I mean, it's kind of a given. Damon kills it as usual. But Christian Bale, he's something else. He's amazing in this movie. His character is so quirky and so strange, but also really funny and definitely very stubborn. So it's really cool to see him interact with the guy who plays Henry Ford or Matt Damon's character. It's really interesting to see that kind of dynamic, and he's always good. I haven't seen a movie of Christian Bale's where they aren't always the best movies. Most of the time they're really, really good, but he always gives a strong performance, and this is no exception. I think the best thing about Bale as an actor is when you watch his movies, rarely do you ever see Christian Bale in a scene. You see his character. He's like a chameleon. He takes on the persona of the character, similar to Jake Gyllenhaal, and he absolutely whether it's changing his body, because he obviously changes from fat to skinny to muscular so fast. He's one of the biggest body changing actors, but besides that, he just gets so invested. You get so invested in his character because he sells it so well that you don't look at the screen and you don't think oh, Christian Bale's really good, or you don't say oh, that's Christian Bale. You see the character he's portraying, and this is he's perfect here, seriously. Now, James Mangold also teamed up with his composer who he's used in a lot of his films Logan and 310 to Yuma, Marco Beltrami, and I think he's one of the best composers working today. Obviously, if you've been watching my channel, you know I'm a huge fan of 310 to Yuma. There's literally a poster right there. It used to be my favorite movie of all time. Now it's in the top 10-ish, but it's still such an amazing movie. But his score in this film is up there with 310 to Yuma. I still like 310 more, and maybe Logan, but the score here is great. And I love when kind of Spielberg and John Williams, they team together, or Hans Zimmer and Christopher Nolan. I love when directors and composers it's they speak the same language and they just get it and they stick with that, and this is it's great. A really great score. Now, overall, I really had a great time with Ford v Ferrari. I wouldn't say it's perfect, it's pretty close. The only real issues I had were at times the pacing can drag just a tad, and it is a little predictable. There's definitely some things where when it comes to the sports movies and racing movies, all the cliches, some of them are there. Mangold wisely sidesteps some of them and subverts our expectations, but there are a couple times where I could kind of see where it was going, and the ending, I'm not going to say what happens, but when a certain thing happens to someone, I kind of saw it coming. And then the last little flaw I had, there's a scene towards the end of the first act with Bale and his wife, and they're driving and something happens and it just felt really out of place, a little cartoonish. It felt like it portrayed the tone of the movie. Like while it was like a racing movie, it still felt a little out of place, but it was a very quick scene, only about a minute or two long, so it wasn't a big deal. But yeah, overall, Ford v Ferrari was another fantastic film from this year. This year's been really good for movies. Have you guys noticed that? I'm gonna give Ford v Ferrari an A-, and now I'm actually gonna pass this off to my friend Spencer Cook. I actually met my friend Spencer about, 2 years ago at this place called Work Camp Northeast, and we both really had like a strong passion for movies, and we just kind of hit it off since then. I haven't seen him for a while, but he's going to be sharing his thoughts because he saw the movie. So let's hear from Spencer.
How's it going, guys? This is Spencer. Thank you, Ryan, for having me on the channel. It's an honor. So this weekend I saw Ford vs. Ferrari, starring Christian Bale and Matt Damon, directed by James Mangold. I didn't watch any of the trailers for the movie just because that's not something I like to do when I go see a movie. I'd rather be surprised by everything in it. If it's like something I'm sold on, that's interesting enough to me, just like looking at the poster or seeing who's in it, or it's a hype release, I'm not gonna watch the trailer for it because I don't want to get spoiled. So I didn't see anything for this because of the two stars and the director. I know they're fantastic. So I went in with moderately high expectations, and they were met. James Mangold directed this movie excellently. He's a fantastic director, and he proved it yet again. There's some really, really pretty shots in this movie, but those are my thoughts of Ford vs. Ferrari. Great acting, very well directed, definitely worth seeing. Can't wait to buy it. Thank you, Ryan, for having me on the channel. It's been an honor.
So that's gonna do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a like. And if you like what you see here, make sure to subscribe for more content like this. That way, I can see you guys soon.